department for $2,000. But they didn't get a purchase order or anything. Just when they finally got it, they split it. So that needs to be as a claim on that one.
Okay.
And that was check number 382968.
All righty. I'd look for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to authorize signature of the certified list of claim as presented by Mike.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Cemeteries.
Okay, cemeteries. Mazer Cemetery, Darlene Burns and Karen McGlory, lot 258A, spaces 1 and 2, and lot 220A, spaces 3 and 4.
Which cemetery was that?
Mazer Cemetery. Vernal Memorial Park, Judy C. Murray, block 261, spaces 25 through 28, and block 258, spaces 1 through 4 and 9 through 12. And that's the cemetery certificates.
That's it. All right. Any other discussions or motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve cemetery certificates as presented.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Tax matters today.
We do today, Commissioners. The first one here is UBAG. You know, they have several self-help build lots, and these are some that did not sell this year, so we need to debate the tax. We leave them on until they actually happen to sell it. So with that one, Commissioners, and I've emailed all these to you. You should have gotten it last year. So serial number 1742 and 0206 abate $251.88. These are all on the west side. The next one, 1742-0207 for $251.88. Serial number 1741-202, the amount of $251.88. 1741-201, again $251.88. Serial number 1741-203, same $251.88. Serial number 1741-204 in the amount of $251.88. Next one, 1742 and 215, $251.88. And then the final one, 1742-216, $251.88. And that's a total abatement of $2,015.04. These are, they're government, UBAG's lots, and so we just need to abate those taxes on that one.
All right. I'd entertain a motion on that.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the abatement of all the parcels listed for a total of $2,015.04 as presented by Mike.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
The next one, Commissioners, this is Northeast Counseling Center or Uintah Basin Substance Council, whatever. These are the apartments just east of their facility. They are now the sole owner of it. Whoever their partner is out of it. So we'll push to put these on tax exempt status next year, but we need to abate the tax for serial number 5, 12, and 44 in the amount of $2,643.84.
2006.
43 and 84 cents.
All right. I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the abatement for the apartments, the buildings belonging to Northeast Counseling in the amount of $2,643.84.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Now, this is the one that hurts the worst. This is Pacific Corp. This is a state appeal from 2016, clear through 2022. We finally received the final order of approval on it. 2016, I'll just go by serial number and the amount of the refund. 2016 refund $10,501.37. 2017 refund $11,746.53. 2018 $12,118.83. 2019 $43,241.34. 2020, $43,219.28. 2021, $8,449.91. And 2022, $5,045.27. Total of that is $134,322.54. And just an FYI, the county share of that is $30,937. Other entities will be the rest of it.
Okay.
This has been an ongoing appeal for many years and finally reached a settlement on it.
All right. I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the settlement with Pacific Corps on tax, these are tax refunds for the years 2017 through 2022 inclusive.
2016 through
2016 to 2022 or 21, 18, 19, 20, 22.
It included 22. They also rolled 22's appeal in it also.
And the total amount of $134,322.54.
All right, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Any other tax matters?
Oh my God.
All right, business licenses.
Good morning, Gabby Blackburn with Uintah County Community Development. We have a few today, but they all have kind of unique conditions, so we'll probably just do them one by one if that's all right.
Let us sign them too.
Okay.
The first one is Kicking Our Construction, located at 1717 East, 2000 North in Ballard, parcel number 173837 in the A4 zone. So this is a construction contractor. They say they mostly do concrete, but they do have the licensure to do other things. This is just a home-based business, so we recommend approval with the condition that they follow home-based business rules and regulations.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the business license for, if I get this right, Kicking Our
Yep.
Construction. Their home-based business license with the understanding they comply with all home-based business rules.
Okay, we have a motion. I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
The next one is Pintail Trucking, located at 727 East, 1500 South, parcel number 54919. This is in the R2 zone. So this is they're just using this location as a home-based office for their trucking company. This location is actually not eligible for the conditional use permit to park any commercial vehicles at it. So we recommend approval of this business license with the condition that no commercial vehicles are parked at the home and that they follow all home-based business rules and regulations.
All righty. Any discussion?
I'm gonna have to get the name again.
Pintail Trucking,
Pintail, like the duck, pintail.
probably.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the home-based business license for Pintail Trucking with the conditions that there will be no commercial vehicles parked at the office and they abide by all the other home-based business rules and regulations.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
The next one is Elevated Natural Stone, located at 1336 East, 335 South, parcel number 54621. This is in our I-1 zone, that's industrial. They do natural stone cutting and they sell the stones. So this one is unique. It's right on the border of Uintah County and Vernal City. So their actual shop is in Uintah County. We sent out the inspections to Sheriff, Fire, Building, and Tri-County Health. They were all good with it. But part of their storage is in Vernal City. I talked with Alan Parker and Rachel Tribe there, and they both said that they're good to do their businesses, but we recommend approval of this business license for the portion only located in the unincorporated county, and with the condition that they follow all Uintah County Sheriff's Department, Fire Department, Building Department, and Tri-County Health Department rules and regulations, and that the business is we're only approving the portion located in Uintah County. Applicant must work with Vernal City for all operations done on property located within Vernal City limits.
This is a commercial business.
This is a
license.
commercial business. People enter the shop and they do the cutting there as well.
All right. All right, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the business license as presented by Gabby.
I'll second it.
That was a lot less words.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
All right, and then the last business license is Country Lane Preschool. So this is an in-home preschool. She previously got a conditional use permit for this, so she's kind of been through the approval process for that already. So we recommend approval of this business license with the condition that they follow all conditions of the approved conditional use permit and that they follow home-based business rules and regulations.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Sorry, I forgot to read the address and serial number.
Oh, all right.
My bad. 2517 South, 280 East, parcel number 623, 258 in the RA1 zone. I'm sorry, I got excited.
Okay, all right, thank you. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the business license and the CUP at the same time?
The
or
CUP is already
there?
approved.
Approve the home-based business for Country Lane Preschool, provided they adhere to all the rules of all the conditions of the CUP and the home-based business license rules.
Okay, I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passed. Right,
That's all of them.
beer license approval.
Yes, I also have that one. So this
Okay.
is for Hacienda Jalisco. We just barely approved their restaurant business license. It's located at 2571 West, 500 North in Vernal, parcel number 4, 11817 in the C1 zone. So the Sheriff's Department has approved this. They passed all their background checks. Health Department has issued an operating permit, is what I believe they call it. And so we now recommend approval of this beer license with the condition that they follow all qualifications specified in the Liquor Control Act. An active business license for Hacienda Jalisco is maintained. Yeah, sorry about that. Because this is a Class B beer license, so it's only at the restaurant. That they follow all Tri-County Health Department rules and regulations, follow Uintah County Sheriff Department rules and regulations, and that beer is only sold at the restaurant location. We're not approving other locations.
This is another one where I'm just gonna go with the, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve the beer license for Jalisco. What was it?
Jalisco.
Jalisco, yeah. And what's the other name?
Hacienda.
Hacienda. As presented by Gabby with all of the appropriate conditions.
Okay, I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Great, thanks.
Thank you. All right, bid openings and possible award. Mike, you've got those, I think. Wow. Okay.
Remind me which one was first.
Hazardous mitigation plan.
That's those. Commissioners, we've received 4 bids on this one. One of these was received late, was not received till this morning, should have been received by Thursday at 5. So we will not open that bid.
Okay.
So the first one, I don't know who these are from until we open them, these. And these were all received on time on these. Bold Planning out of Denver, Colorado. I don't see her. Planning, that's what I was. Okay, see if we can find a price on this one real quick. Total cost $68,500. And that was from Bold Planning, a division of Agility Recovery out of Denver, Colorado. The next one. Response Systems, Inc. and Inglewood, Florida. Says page 10, but I'm not seeing. $52,000. Next one is Rural Community Consultants, Springville, Utah. Jones and DeMille Engineering is who this is. Total estimated cost of $120,000. So with that, commissioners recommend we take these under consideration. Let Heidi, that's what I was trying to, thank you. Heidi and her committee look these over and come back with a recommendation at a future meeting.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see, we've got one more, correct? Emergency Management Mass Notification System for Region 5?
That one, commissioners, all these bids were received on time. Like
many were there?
6 bids on that one. First one, not sure who it's from. Integrated Solutions Consultants, maybe. And I don't see a price. Let me keep digging here. $56,022.81.
56,200.
$56,022.
22. Okay.
$56,022.81. And they are out of Edwardsville, Illinois. HQE Systems, Inc. They're hiding their price. They have a lot of certifications.
Maybe they'll do it for nothing.
Maybe so. Commissioners, I'm not seeing a price on that one anywhere that they have brought out. So just
Note
one,
that.
I cannot locate a price on that one.
Well, we would still.
Yeah,
even
still accept
still
it and refer
forward.
it back to the committee.
Did they say where they were from?
Temecula, California. Temecula, California.
Temecula.
Temecula? Okay. This next one is from Genesis, Genassys, and they are out of San Diego, California. Page 13. $11,500 annual cost with a total recurring cost of $11,500 a year. Onsolve LLC, Ormond Beach, Florida.
What was the name of that?
Onsolve, Onsolve. Page 10. $15,300. And that looks like it's a jump drive with the same stuff on it, probably. Next one, this was an emailed it to us. And I'm believing in the bid proposal that it allowed them to do that. I did not review that. So this was emailed to us. We received it through Zeke, up to us. This is from Enterprise Account Executive. That's not who it is. Genesis. That last one, Genesis?
Two ago was Genesis.
I'm wondering if they emailed this in also to make sure they got one in on time. 11,005, so that's the same one,
Same
Commissioners. And the final one. Big box, little package. How's that? RAVE, R-A-V-E, Mobile Safety, out of Farmington, MA, Massachusetts.
Farmington or Framingham? Farmington,
Farmingham.
Farmingham.
Total 1 year, 13,700, and then 10,200 a year for 5 years. So with that, Commissioners recommend we take them under consideration and let Heidi and her team look at those and award at a future meeting. I believe these are all for 2023. I'm not positive on that.
Okay, all righty, thank you. The Western Park bleachers ones were a week early on them, so
Right.
we'll be up.
They called
bit
us
on-
and had us put it on it, and then we realized they was a week early, but we'd already posted
Yeah.
the agenda.
All righty, is that everything, Mike? Thank you. Tri-County Health Budget Presentation. What's that? Oh, okay, motion,
To accept them?
just accept,
Just accept who they were.
okay, a motion to accept that we got them,
And refer them to,
refer them
for
to.
further review.
You, okay. Have a motion, I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Good morning.
Morning. I don't have much of a presentation per se, but if you guys recall last year about this time when we renegotiated the interlocal agreement, one of the stipulations that we included was that Tri-County would give a preliminary budget, would present the preliminary budget to each of the 3 counties prior to November 30th, just to be upfront. And so we're here to do that. Did you get a PDF from our office included? Have you seen it? I should have brought extra copies.
Yeah,
I'll give you-
don't recall.
I don't remember.
Do you have an extra copy of it, Carver? And Carver is here just in case there were any questions. Carver's our new business manager. Thanks, Carver. Sorry, I thought it got sent.
Oh, and we can share it.
And so one caveat there is that the board has accepted a preliminary budget, and that's sort of the second column there. The bottom line was $4,379,619. The first line is what we will be proposing to the board at our board meeting on November 30th. Is it the 30th? And so there are some moderate changes, but the bottom line doesn't really change very much. It'll be $4,397,856. For comparison, I included our 2021 actual expenditures. Our total expenditures were $4,290,202. Our revenues were $4,677,669. We were going to include a 2022 budget on here as well, but it's a little bit abnormal because of all of our COVID activities. And didn't feel like it was a fair comparison, but just for the record, our 2022 approved budget was 5.1 million. Our actual estimated expenses for 2022 will actually come out closer to $4.4 million. Different than what the budget was. We came in under budget this year, but mostly just wanted to make sure you got a copy of that. I apologize it wasn't like in your packet, but are there any questions either for Carver or myself? Or Carver, did you have anything to add?
I don't have any comments. Do you, Bill?
No.
Okay, do you just acknowledge that we accepted, or you've presented, I guess?
Yeah,
all?
I think what we said in the interlocal agreement is we would present it and get feedback.
Okay.
So I think just maybe a motion that you accept the anticipated preliminary budget, or that you've had a chance to review it, even if you just say that you've reviewed it. Just something for the record, I think would be perfect, perfectly appropriate. It's sort of our first run
Go
of the
with
new.
this.
Yeah, first go,
Okay.
so whatever we think is most appropriate.
You got any comments or questions or motions?
It's about a, looks like about a 4.7% increase over last year,
Well,
roughly 4 or 5%.
it's, yeah, over this year, it's equal to this year, essentially.
Okay.
Equal to our actual expenditures this year, but yeah, it's an increase, ever so slightly. Yeah, from the year previous, from 2021's budget.
What was it that pushed it, do you suppose? Based on what your experience, what was the biggest increase? It's only $22,000, so it's not that big of an increase.
It's probably, we do have, we received quite a few COVID, federal COVID monies for short-term staff. So we have quite a few short-term staff that we hired on two-year contracts. And that's the bulk of the change,
Okay.
is some short-term staff. And those staff will likely be ending their terms towards the end of next year or in early 2024, depending on which money they were hired on. So it's mostly term-limited employees that we've got on staff.
Alrighty. I guess we need a
I
motion to.
don't know if we're not
Even though-
approving anything.
Yeah, no.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, alrighty.
Much appreciated. Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time. My name is Kirk Bench. I'm the Director of Tri-County Health. Anything else to add, Carver? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, participation, commitment by Uintah County and Division of Forestry, Fire and State Land. Cory, how are you today, Cory?
Doing very well, Commissioner. Thank you.
Approve.
So I'm Cory Auger, County Fire Warden with Utah Division of Forestry, Fire and State Lands. I'm here to present for signature, for approval and signature, the participation commitment for year 2023 as part of the cooperative agreement between Forestry, Fire and State Lands and Uintah County. So I did leave a copy of this. So our commitment for 2023 is $102,138. So for those that are unaware of how this works, this is done or repaid in like-kind services. This is delegated to Jeremy Raymond at the Uintah Fire Suppression Special Service District to manage this cost, and they do include what they need to in their budget, which I guess is going on their board this Wednesday for approval through the Fire District Board. So here to take any questions from you commissioners or the public.
Is this something we're gonna have John look over or not, or do we need a motion to approve with signatures at this time, or what?
You know, typically, it's been, the money comes out of, or the money is through the district. But the agreement is with the county, and it's been a long-term.
Correct.
It's got an overarching agreement that was approved. So this is just the annual.
But we as commissioners will need to sign this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, do we need a motion for authorization of a signature for this? Is that what?
Only if you want to sign it.
Okay, go ahead, I need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the participation by Uintah County with the Division of Fire and Forestry and State Lands, the agreement itself, including authorization of signature.
All seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passed.
All right, thank you. And I have a second copy here if we.
Oh, you need to take one with you,
Yes, I need one, and then you guys.
and then one goes to the clerk's office.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cory.
All righty. Let's see, contract with SHARMANE, GULL regarding public safety matters.
Thank you, Commissioners. Tegan Troutner with Uintah County Attorney's Office. I have a letter of agreement to enter into a contract with SML Strategic LLC, who is, that's SHARMANE GULL is the owner. And it would be, the terms would be from December 1st of 2022 to December 31st of 2021. This would be a contract for consulting.
My mind slipped a cog there on the dates. It sounded like 2021, which would be a year ago.
December 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2023.
Okay. I heard 21.
And I might have misspoke.
I said, I
heard
slipped
22.
I slipped a cog. So.
All right. So it would be a contract for consulting, lobbying, and project development. The end product would be presented to the County Justice Coordinating Council. It would, services for the year would cost $100,200. The county would be able to terminate this with 30 days written notice. And the purpose of this is so that we can have a more efficient criminal justice system.
This is,
We would just ask for a signature on the contract.
I know I've heard about this, but the,
And
okay, there we go.
my boss will do these.
Commissioners, Jamin Thomas, County Attorney. I can answer any questions you have.
I think the main one is, and we've had these discussions before, this is something that has been ongoing. This is intended to get us representation at the state level to be sure that we get funds to push forward this.
Yeah, we
program.
specifically have short-term and long-term goals. Those that attended the presentation that she gave was in October. We have certain goals. One of those is to set up a pretrial service program for the county. The goal of that is to get the funding through the state and through the legislature. We want to get her up and going right now so that she can be in there for this legislative session. The whole point is to try to get state funding so that we're not coming to the county. We're also, one goal of this is to try to decrease our drug court budget. That's a big goal of ours. I think we've done that year after year, but I would like to do it more significantly. And we've also wanted some of the other goals that we talked about in our planning meeting was to work with Northeastern and to hopefully get a receiving center for the Uintah Basin for mental health. And there's a whole bunch of different projects. This does have a 30-day termination clause for either side. If it turns out that we don't feel like we're getting what we signed up for, we can terminate. My experience with Ms. Gull so far has been amazing. I think she's super excited. She has a track record of doing the similar things in Washington County, and I think it would benefit our system. And the other great thing about this is it will give us numbers that we can track and so that we can measure our recidivism rates, and we can present that to the commission. So when you ask us questions about, well, what's the recidivism rates and where's this money going to, the whole goal of this is to be able to present that to the commission.
One of the biggest complaints we've had, or one of the biggest issues we've had over the, I don't even know how far back it goes, the hospitals have come to us with concerns about someone who is in need of medical assistance but who's under the influence is terrorizing emergency rooms and others. This is intended also to go towards addressing that problem.
Yeah, that's the hope. That is a problem. It's a problem that local law enforcement has come forward with. And I hope, I mean, obviously that takes a lot of sides to do that, but the whole point of this is to try to get there and try to get a system that will work.
Okay.
Okay, any more comments or discussion? I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the contract with SHARMANE GULL regarding the public safety matters as amplified by the county attorney, including authorization of signature.
I'll second it.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, specifically it's with SML Strategic LLC, who she's the
SML,
owner.
SML Strategic. LLC. In the amount of $100,200.
Okay. I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, we have, next is the opioid settlement.
That's me again, Commissioners. Tegan Troutner with the Uintah County Attorney's Office. I'm filling in for John Sturmer. So what this is it is another memorandum of understanding for the opioid litigation that's been ongoing. And this one is specifically with J&J and distributor. And it just kind of explains how the funds are going to be settled. So settlement funds would be 50-50, 50 to Uintah County, 50 to the state of Utah and 50% to the counties. And we've got a specific amount that we're allocated, and that's 0.866% of those funds. This basically extends the terms of the previous MOU that we've had to any further bankruptcies and settlements, and it kind of also extends where the state would where the state and the counties would recover funds. Same payment distribution. It doesn't require that we participate in future settlement agreements, and it includes many of the terms from the backstop agreement that you've previously signed, so we don't have to do an addendum. At least theoretically we don't have to do one unless something comes up. And these funds all have specific uses for what they can be used for, and that's outlined in the agreement. It's basically directed to abating the opioid epidemic and its impacts, and so there are approved uses for that, and we would have to post annually and report and submit a plan and all that good stuff. And it's all outlined in the Memorandum of Understanding.
Okay. Comments, discussion?
Questions? Do you recommend, is your office recommending?
Yes, the County Attorney's Office does recommend that this Memorandum of Understanding be signed.
I'm guessing I know the answer to this already, but is any of this money available for, opioid, fentanyl is an opioid. Is it allowed to go towards any kind of fentanyl programs, or is it all the associated with the prescription opioid?
So it's my understanding that this is for the pharmaceutical.
Okay.
Yes, for the pharmaceutical issues.
Okay.
A lot of that is community outreach, or it's
Yeah, and
programs to make aware, so that could include
Theoretically.
theoretically. Okay.
You would, so we'll have to file a report on how we've used the money, and the money all has to be done for the abatement of
Okay.
the opioid epidemic.
All right, any other questions or comments? I'd look for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the Universal Opioid Settlement Memorandum of Understanding as presented, including authorization of signatures.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passed.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. All right. We got up today an ordinance for requirements for property maintenance is recorded in subdivisions. Matt?
All right, good morning, Matt Kazir, Community Development. Okay, so this first one is ordinance 11-14-2022 01. And this is an ordinance adding requirements to our zoning code for property maintenance within recorded subdivisions. This particular ordinance came about at the request of some members of the public. They filled out a form requesting that the county look at adding some property maintenance rules to the ordinance. They were concerned about areas within recorded subdivisions where people are located closer together, and so that's what they kind of presented to the what was presented to the Planning Commission. And this ordinance has been recommended by the Planning Commission. They did hold 2 public hearings and a work session as they kind of worked their way through their proposal or their recommendation to the commission here. I don't know what the easiest thing to do on it would be. It's not very long. I can read through it because this is all new language in our ordinance, so it's not changing.
Before you do, what was the vote of the Planning Commission?
Ooh. Okay, so it sounds like 5-1
Okay.
vote. At the
Public
Planning
comment?
Commission. Yeah, the public comment that we received was mostly in favor of it. There were a few comments that were contrary. Mainly they were wondering about enforcement and how that would take place and if that would require additional manpower at the county. And they were concerned that enforcement could be heavy-handed, I guess. So those were the main comments against it.
Okay. These are, it's pretty constrained. It's less than half an acre in a recorded subdivision inside the county.
And in certain zones as well.
Certain zones as
Yeah.
well. And so, do you have any idea as to how many general people are actually affected by the limited scope of this? I know I am, but that's...
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't have a number.
I'm just curious because it's not
Yeah.
really all encompassing.
But if you think of neighborhoods, you think of neighborhoods in the unincorporated county, you think of neighborhoods like Quellbrook or Greenfields Down, which is Sunridge Estates. And so I don't know, can you kind of, as you drive around and you see a cluster of homes together, those would be the areas where this would be
Okay.
applicable. I can read through it. I can kind of hit the highlights
Just the
of it.
highlights.
The highlights, okay.
I think the
So-
theory is what's going to, if people are bothered, it's going to be by the theory, not,
Yeah.
Commissioner Horrocks brought up the fact that, and we could get into this and just beat it to death, a stationary bird bath. Under this ordinance, would it become a mosquito generator, which would fall under this particular ordinance? Technically, yes. Reality-wise, probably not something the county's looking for.
Yeah, so I don't, and he did bring that up this morning. I had a chance to kind of look over it a little closer. And that actually falls here under A4. And so the disease-carrying insects have to be related to the accumulation of wasted or spoiled food or refuse in a manner in which flies, mosquitoes, disease-carrying insects, rodents, or other vermin may breed or may reasonably be expected to breed or harbor. So I don't think a bird bath meets that definition of refuse. And so just the fact that the bird bath may attract mosquitoes or produce mosquitoes or assist in producing mosquitoes, it wouldn't actually fall under this portion of the ordinance.
Well, if that's the case, then would old tires that collect water on your front, they're not spoiled food or refuse either? But they are known mosquito generators.
Yeah, so I think they could fall under refuse. If it's just a tire that's sitting out there, I guess, you might have a tire swing.
I don't want to get into
Yeah.
all the back and forth. This is really more the degree at which maybe those people said they're concerned about how the county is going to enforce it.
Yeah, so there is a portion down at the bottom here that talks about enforcement. It's under D. And this is our policy with code enforcement in general in the Community Development Office. But it says it is the policy of the Community Development Department to not specifically seek out public nuisance violations. Uintah County will react to actual complaints received, either written or verbal. Staff will conduct a site inspection and make a record of any defined public nuisance existing on the property, if any. So it's not that we're going to, as far as if this ordinance is adopted, we're not going to go out, we're not going to have somebody go out and that's their job, to go out and find problems. But we will respond to complaints from the public.
Do you see it requiring an enforcement position, part-time or full-time?
I think it definitely could, yes. I mean, right now, the two of us that generally deal with code enforcement and zoning issues, we're fairly busy. I mean, we do get to them. Sometimes it takes a little while. But, depending on the neighbors and the neighborhoods, I mean, this could increase the workload to a point where another full-time or a part-time employee would be needed to be able to handle the workload. Okay, so just some highlights on it. It does define what a public nuisance is, and it does state that this is only in recorded subdivisions in the R1, R2, R3, MH1, and RA1 zones with an average lot size less than 0.5 acres. So those are the only areas in which this ordinance would apply. It's not to the entire unincorporated county. It's to mainly these zones are found here close to the vernal area. So it would not affect the oil and gas producing areas of the county. It would not affect the Jensen area or the west side of the county either. So, okay, and then it does call out what public nuisance is, like different acts or things. It's here under A, There's, looks like there's 4 different things. So a condition that causes visual blight, is offensive to the senses, or detrimentally affects adjacent property or property in the surrounding neighborhood or community. A condition that impairs the reasonable and lawful use of a neighboring property. A condition that unreasonably or unlawfully affects the health or safety of one or more persons. And then number 4, accumulation of wasted or spoiled food or refuse in a manner in which flies, mosquitoes, disease-carrying insects, rodents, or other vermin may breed or may reasonably be expected to breed.
Is this drastically different from or very similar to vernal cities?
Yeah, very similar to vernal cities. We kind of use theirs as a template for this. I think vernal cities, their weed height is 12 inches. The Planning Commission recommended weed height of 18 inches before it became a nuisance. That's here under B1, or sorry, under C. And then B deals with junk vehicles, unlicensed vehicles, or, you know, it might be vehicles that people are working on. You'd be allowed to have one that would be within your front yard or within view of the public street. If you have more than that, they can be kept in a garage or in the backyard behind a site obscuring fence. And then we talked about the weeds. And again, this is only dealing with the weeds in these neighborhoods where the people are more closely located together. And the weeds they're not cultivated flowers or ornamental or food plants. Those are not, those type of vegetation are not weeds. So, and then we talked about the enforcement.
Any more comments? Or
Yeah, in
thoughts?
general, I said this would apply to me in my subdivision, and it doesn't bother me. The one thing I would do, now that I'm reading that a little more closely, I think you should do a little more on the weeds, because within Vernal City, within some parts of the county, there are noxious weeds that, like goat heads, that don't grow over, they'll never get to 18 inches, but they get to be 18 feet this way. They should be removed. And if you've got somebody who's growing goat heads, it's a noxious weed, and they don't contain them on their property. Goat heads wash, blow, are carried everywhere. And in fact, if you get a hold of Nate, he'll come and get them, because that is a bad one, and it'll never get 18 inches high. So you might want to revise that. If it's listed as a state noxious or invasive species, then it should also be considered
A nuisance.
under this process.
Okay.
Okay. All right, well, good discussion, and we'll bring that up, I guess, again in the next commission meeting, I guess.
With a little bit of change, again, I'd like to see something about that, because I don't know that, where you can't contain weeds that easily. If they are state-listed species, I'm not sure why we're not enforcing.
Okay. And we can look, I know we do have a section in our code about noxious weeds, so maybe it's addressed in there too, but I'll get with Nate and make sure.
Refer to it then
Yeah.
in here, so that there is something to be done.
Okay.
Okay.
But I don't mind seeing it brought back for a vote at all.
Okay.
All righty. Thank you, Matt. We have another one, an ordinance changing some provisions of building permits enforcement in Title 14 of Uintah County Code.
Okay, so this is in Title 14. So this particular ordinance does not go to the Planning Commission. It's one that's just brought to the Commission. So Commissioners, you'll remember a few weeks ago, Well, and at a lot of meetings, we have on the agenda non-compliant buildings and structures, and seeking approval from the commission to record a certificate of non-compliant building or structure on a property. And one issue that we've ran into with this is getting the notice recorded on the property in a timely manner, just because of the way that the process has been outlined in our ordinance. And what that has done is it's caused an issue where the property's been noticed that it's in violation, but we haven't recorded a notice on it, and the owner sells the property without disclosing that there is a violation on the property. And so unsuspecting buyers, buyers that maybe, a lot of first-time buyers that maybe don't know the process, don't know that they should be looking for different things. They buy these places and then they get hit with, oh, hey, this is in violation and there's a lot of work that needs to be done to fix this. And if you remember, a couple weeks ago, we had one where the whole house was built without a permit. The guy came in and got a building permit but never did anything to fix it. And while he had that permit, he sold the home without notifying the buyers that there was an issue. And so we had talked about looking at how the county does this, and if there was a better way, a way that could make it more agile and make it possible to get a certificate recorded on the property in a more timely manner. And so I went through this section of the ordinance, and we're going to be doing the same steps as we were doing before, but by changing the order that we do it, we'll make it to where we can record it more quickly. And so what it would do, one of the big things that it would do is that it would not come before the county commissioners anymore to seek approval to record a certificate of non-compliant building or structure, but it would be an administrative function through our office and through the building official, which currently is one of my responsibilities. And so the burden of reviewing it, making sure that there's just cause and that the process has been followed would fall on me and the people in my office, rather than bringing it to the commission. Now, there are provisions in here that will allow the property owner to appeal our notice and order and bring it before the commission to where the commission can look at the process and make sure that the process was followed. So in the event that maybe the property owner disagrees with how things were handled, or feels that the process wasn't followed, they will have the right to appeal it to the county commission, so it could be seen. So those are the main changes. And so what it does is, you can see there are some things that have been crossed out. The things that are crossed out have just been rearranged and moved to other places, and some of the wording has been changed to make it fit. So basically what it does is, here under B, under recording a certificate of non-compliant building or structure, instead of saying the Board of County Commissioners, it would say the building official may cause to be recorded with the Uintah County Recorder a certificate of non-compliant building or structure anytime after a Uintah County Code violation, commonly known as a red tag, listing the items in violation has been left in a conspicuous location at the property or at the building site. So the first step is we have to post the property and let them know, hey, this is in violation, these are the violations, and we usually give them a time frame to get it corrected. Depending on the nature of the violation will depend on the length of time given. And then under C here, within 10 days of a non-compliant building or a certificate of non-compliant building or structure has been recorded, a letter of notice and order will be served upon the owner of record of the property. And so instead of sending the notice and order first, we're going to send it after. And it will be by certified mail or delivered directly to the owner by a Uintah County employee, which is the same delivery method as previous. So that the letter will include all the same stuff that it included before, which would be the a list of the violations, the parcel that's affected, what actions must be taken to correct the violation, a date of not less than 10 days from the date of the notice for the owner to appeal the notice and order, and then the name and contact information of the building official or designee. And then we'd also add to that notice and order any fees that are associated with the violation, notice that a certificate of non-compliant building or structure has been recorded on the property. So those two things would be added to the letter to better notify the owner of what has taken place and to better notify them about fees that are associated with the violation. And those are the main changes to this. And I think we hit everything that has been changed here.
Any comments or questions? Or
Well, what brought a lot of this up, and Commissioner Haslam was quite vocal about it, was that home on the west side, built without any type of permitting and nowhere near up to code. I guess the problem still is if no one checks, there's no title search, it's still not going to help. And I don't know how those folks got by without, if you got cash and you buy a house or you owner financing or something like that, it's still not, it's not a catch-all, but it probably is a little better.
Yeah, it's just adding another layer of protection, because even if the buyers would have called our office and asked some questions about it, we could have given them all the information so they could make a better decision, or at least know what they're purchasing.
I'll be honest with you, that's not, I never would even think of calling planning and zoning if I were in a real estate. Also, I was planning to do something with it later.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for me.
I don't have any other questions or comments. I like the thoughts of where it's going. Is it something we want to act upon today, or leave it out there for discussion until next week and act upon it or I'll entertain a motion?
Any other changes that you have, or?
No, those are the changes.
This did not go through Planning Commission.
No, Title 14 in our county code is not one of the chapters that's required to go through the Planning Commission.
Okay, when you talk about the administrative process that someone would follow to bring an appeal forward to the commission, do you have anything laid out as to, is there a time frame they have to file that appeal? Is that
So
covered
that's
in some
in here.
section?
Yeah, so it, let's see, it's right here, that they have to be given at least 10 days.
No, that's, you've got to send it to
Let's
them
see.
within 10 days. How long do they have?
Yeah, so
30
that's down,
days.
sorry, it's still under C, but it's a little bit further down here, about the middle here. I don't know if I can highlight this. So the notice has to include, has to give them a date of not less than 10 days in order to appeal from the date of the notice.
Seems
So-
kind of short.
Yeah, and that's what was in there before to appeal it. That could definitely be,
Well, that was before
lengthened.
because they got lots of notification and then came here before it was filed. Now they're going to get that notification. I don't want to say blindsided. Presumably you're in contact with them and they've decided not to get back in touch with you. That's usually the way those go. I don't know. it seems short. A lot of appeal processes are at least 15 days, but
Yeah.
that'd be my only thought on that one.
Okay. Yeah, and there would be no issue changing the time limit on that. It would just be a matter of making sure that's in the notice.
Talk to the county attorney about that.
Not specifically about the 10 days notice. I did email it to John. I didn't hear anything back from him, so.
Okay, any other discussion? Well, should we bring this back next week and look through the days and the times, or do you want to?
Commissioner Haslam was very interested in this. I think it would be good for him to see it, because he's the one who actually raised the issue.
Right.
And so, I mean, the world goes on, but he will be back. So I think it's okay to wait another week.
All righty.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. All right, we will have public comments today. It will allow everybody 3 minutes and up to a total of 10 minutes. If we have any public comments at this time, please come forward.
Good morning. I'm J.C. Brewer. I'd like to go back to that ordinance that we was discussing just a minute ago on maintenance of property in subdivisions. Why is that restricted to subdivisions? The issue here is unmaintained pieces of property, fence lines, corners, places like that. I know that Russian olive trees are in this county a noxious weed. Are Chinese elms as well a noxious weed?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know.
Russian olives are, but I'm not sure about the elms.
Excuse me. What is the question really is burning in my mind is why is this ordinance change restricted to subdivisions? Can this be addressed with commercial property owners, businesses that run a business of some kind on a street or a road, and their backyard is full of weeds, brush, wild trees, all this kind of stuff that is being unmaintained and producing weed crop after weed crop after weed crop that's blowing into the neighbors' properties. Unmaintained fence lines is one of my pet peeves.
You know, J.C.
Can this be expanded to address things like a business, anything that has a fence line or a piece of corner in their property that they're not maintaining? Does the county's weed ordinance pertain to businesses or just to us private property owners?
No,
or
we don't have a. We don't have a weed ordinance. It's this is the new one. It seems as though that should be a condition of a business license, though. I think there are some business licenses that require certain things, but to my knowledge, this has not been one that's been included.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Where I'm trying to go here is if we're going to add a ordinance or provisions to an ordinance that put an extra burden on private property owners, homeowners. You here call this a recorded subdivisions. I assume that this is targeting private property owners that build a house and don't maintain their backyard. But can this be extended to not only to homeowners but to business owners and even commercial entities like
This one doesn't actually apply to backyards as much as it does front. In fact, if you read it, it shows that if you've got a fence that obscures, you can have some of that stuff behind it. It's really the front yard more than anything. Does that sound right, Matt? It's the way we were talking about it this morning with that fence.
Yeah, so some of the stuff can be behind a fence, but the weeds are not. The
Okay.
weeds could be anywhere on the property.
These weeds, these kosher weeds get 6 feet high out here on our street corners. Truly, they get 6 feet high out here in front of every commercial building between here and Naples, out on the street. Whether that's state property, state road, county responsible, whose responsibility is that to take care of them things? And a lot of us that live downwind get the seeds from everything that grows in this valley. Now, it's not going to be quite so bad once we pipe the canals. We don't get those seeds in our irrigation water, but we're still getting tons of seeds, wild trees particularly, blowing down through the county. And when you're talking about adding restrictions or regulations or provisions in your this type of an ordinance, why isn't that extended to commercial buildings or even public utilities instead of just to property or to homeowners?
Did that come up, Matt, in the discussion with Planning Commission?
No, nobody brought that up in the discussion, so,
That's why I brought it up.
yeah.
Sounds like Planning Commission is where you need to go.
Maybe that's where it needs to go.
All righty. Well, thank you. Any other?
Jeremy Raymond, Director, Uintah Fire District. So some of these items, commercial items, are already addressed in the fire code. It's just enforcement and going out and looking at that and approving it, but annual inspections will catch that. So if it is a fire issue, that's already being caught and addressed and is in the fire code currently.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Willis Lefevre, citizen. Regarding that same code, I got it here to look at it, but maybe I misunderstood Matt. Oh, I think he threw down an acreage there towards the end, and I thought I heard 26 acres. Did I hear that, or did I hear that wrong? 0.5 acres. Oh, 0.5 acres. Okay, that answers all my questions, because okay, I was just, my thought process was going, other than restricting people's rights, if we're talking about certain subdivisions, is that a way, that something that can be dealt with a HOA instead of limiting other people's? You know, if a subdivision and they want to get together and make those ordinances, can't they do that in their smaller group other than restricting someone else's rights? Thank you.
Thank you.
An HOA can do that, but probably the most restrictive thing you can do.
But they can vote for it and they have a choice.
Yeah.
Instead of dictating it.
Pam Clinch, I kind of had a concern about that too. These kind of things kind of take a life on of their own. It will come to the point, if you are enforcing it, you'll have to hire somebody to be the watcher. And I mean, they do just kind of, some of these things can do that. And I've had some dealings in Vernal City with that, and because they have a similar kind of thing. And I don't know, I just think, do we really have that ragtag of a community that we need to really put that concrete like that and find people or watch them and hire somebody? And it just can get big. And I agree there's issues and problems, and obviously somebody's living someplace that it's yucky and they want to fix that. But then when that ripples onto everybody else, and you get somebody it can be personal. And I just hate to see us adding a layer of regulations and burdens on people. We live in a pretty nice place. And if, like you said, you could do an HOA, which are terrible in the end too, depending on who the people are involved with that. So I don't know, that we have to regulate individual people so much that we have to pass another ordinance and create other things. So that's my thought.
Thank you. All right, any other comments? All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned.